Let's go out there with a bunch of crazed dogs.
My camera. How about them Giants? How about them Giants? How about them Giants?
Woo! What's happening, people? Welcome to another episode of Giants Rush, where we talk, Giants football, right? Talk Giants football every single Monday, 7:30. We are here. We're on YouTube. If you're not familiar with the YouTube channel, it's NY Giants Rush. Of course, all the interviews are there every Monday. It's automatically there live, and then all the other content is there. So do me a favor. If you're out there, hit that subscribe button for me, and that will mean a lot. What's up, Daniel? Happy Monday. G-Man R7I is in the house. See you guys piling in the room. I got Ryan Dunleavy showing up. I got Chris. He's working on some microphone issues, so he's working on that. Oh, I think he's good to go, so we'll get him in here. And today, it's kind of gone off the rails, right? Because we've got Dexter Lawrence that wants to trade. Dexter Lawrence is the most dominant defensive player we've had on this team in quite some time, so we're definitely going to talk about that. Getting close to the draft. So we are 3 weeks away from the draft. In case you guys don't know, maybe you're newer to Giants Rush, we do what I call fan appreciation night or nights, okay, for all our folks, right? So if you've ever hung out with us, either watch our content, stream it live, whatever you do, we bring on 60 to 80 of you during the draft, live during the draft, okay? You hang out with us. I'm going to host on Thursday night, round 1 with Sean. Chris is going to host rounds 2 and 3 on Friday. So if you want in, which some of you have already been tagging me that you want in, you get like 10 minutes of fame. You hang out. You tell us what you think. It's a good time. We'll give some stuff away. So hopefully you guys will hit up the guys on the team. Sean's off tonight. It's his birthday. So he's out hammering beers and flexing his biceps somewhere out there in Florida barland, right? So I've got Ryan popping in. I got Chris. Let's do and by the way, we're a little bit short without Sean, so we have nobody to make fun of. I have no one to argue with because Chris and we get along really well. I've got no one to argue with. So Chris, feel free to argue with me about anything that's necessary here, because somebody here has to argue with me.
It's good to be the king.
That's my guy, Shockey. If we could only find another tight end like Shockey. Chris is just going to flex biceps and smash beer over his head.
No Coach Steve Austin, he is the man. Well, the Cats to toughen up is over here and give themselves a beer bath.
What's up? All right, you froze there for a second, and you're on mute. So if you unmute yourself, then I think you're back in.
All right, here we go. We all right now?
All right, here we go.
Man. Wow. Not the most technical savvy guy, but
it's all good, dude. It's all good. So today turns into which is normal day in Giant Land, right? We figure.
Well, Craig, I want to stop right there. Tomorrow, the off-season program begins. We got to mention that tomorrow.
It does start tomorrow, but there's a bigger issue today.
Yes.
Right. So we would be talking about, off-season conditioning tomorrow. We talk about some offensive linemen that get signed. But no, today is going to be around Dexter Lawrence. Also, some new rules have been signed off on for the NCAA we'll get to. And, of course, he's here every other week, and he knows a lot more than we do. Mr. Dunleavy is in the house. By the way, folks, you should follow him right now before you're doing anything else because it's heating up. So he's going to be getting more good juice for us as it goes. What's happened, Mr. Dunleavy?
What's up? Back from Disney World.
Hey, Ryan.
Yeah, man. It's a good time to hit the spring break on Disney World, unless it's super busy.
It was super busy. It was crazy. Apparently every kid in America has the same spring break. It was the lines are out of control, but I desperately needed a break from work and the cold weather. So it was good to have a strawberry daiquiri in a pool.
Love it. Well, you come back to a couple things here.
Yeah, what a first day back, huh?
Yeah, exactly. Chris was just saying, we need to talk about off-season program starting tomorrow. Like, that's tomorrow. Today, we've got some whatever you want to call it, breaking news that Dexter Lawrence is asking for a trade. We also have a bunch of NCAA rules that were signed off on. I'm going to cover that a little bit later, but there are all new rules as of today that are put in place for college sports. If you haven't seen that, the president signed off on that. So we have some new rules in place there, which is normally the things that we talk about. 5-year eligibility now, no 6, 7, and 8 years. They're going to restrict the amount of athletes can be paid. You're only allowed to transfer one time over 5 years, unless there's a medical red shirt. Schools are definitely going to help women push for the Olympics, make it more like a pipeline from college to the Olympics. Congress, of course, has to pass this, and of course, that's something that's going to be taking place now that women have to be women to play in women's sports. So that's kind of what took place today. And outside, we thought it was going to be a regular boring old Monday, and we were going to chop it up and talk about the draft. Brian, I'm going to read you this. Tell me if this sounds like someone you'd like to have on your football team. 3-time Pro Bowler. He's ranked 12th when it comes to being paid at his position. He has been on your team for 7 years, 185 tackles, 30.5 sacks. He never missed a game until 2024. And then between 2022 and 2024, he had 21 sacks. So of his 30.5 sacks, he did it in basically the 2002, 2003, 2004 seasons. 21 sacks of his 30 sacks. But he's paid, depending on what source you use, Ryan, the 11th or 12th ranked defensive tackle. Dexter Lawrence evidently signed a deal, doesn't like it. The top of the market is $31.75 million. And Mr. Lawrence asked for a trade today. Again, as Chris and I spoke a little earlier, definitely, it's what these guys do when they want more money. But look, it's exploded. Jordan Davis is getting paid $26 million.
I think that was the powder keg. That contract was that's what pushed it over the edge, I think.
Yeah. So my question to you is he's still, to me, the face of the defense, right? I mean, I know Burns had a great year, but let me start here. How long have they been talking, Ryan? I understand this has been a 2-year thing.
2 years. Yep.
Okay.
2 years. 2 years on and off. And obviously there's long periods of not talking there. Like, you're not talking week to week during the season, or, they obviously had a regime change. They weren't talking then, but on and off for 2 years. Yep.
So
that's how we ended up with the BS $3 million in incentives last year to just, kind of hold him off and placate him, And it really drives me crazy when Giants fans are like, this isn't the time to ask for it after half a sack. If I underperformed at my job, I'd have, guts to go ask for a raise. It's like, whoa.
Yeah.
Like, he asked for a raise off off his great year and you didn't give it to him and he
Yes.
didn't whine about it. So now you're going to punish him for asking for one now. So what you're really, so then you would have been okay with him asking for a trade last year? No, you would have flipped out. So like you can't have it both ways. You can't be like happy he didn't ask for it after ask for a trade last year and tried to be a good team guy and then pissed that he's asking for it off his bad year. Like that's not how it works.
Chris, so what I was saying earlier to you when you and I were going around about it a little bit is what Ryan just alluded to is he's like saying, hey, I didn't have a great year, but he's never going to come out and say, well, I didn't work as hard this offseason because you keep putting me off. If you don't want me here, I'll go. I'm not saying the guy's lazy. I'm not saying the guy doesn't want to be here. I'm not saying any of that, but he might have come in out of shape, a little heavy. He might have still been hurt, right?
Yeah,
so he did
both
not
of those
have,
things are true.
Yeah, he didn't have the best year, but again, nobody gets up every day and does anything for free, and he wants to be paid what his worth is. He's not even in the top 5, Chris. Mm-hmm. And if he's asking for 2 years, maybe he didn't have such a great year, Chris, because his motivation wasn't there.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you look at the body of work, right? I mean, the body of work's fantastic. Ryan, let me ask you this. The fact that Dawn Aponte is now in the middle of everything, working numbers and figures and ahead of Joe Shane, how much is she going to play a role now versus when she wasn't here last year?
Huge. I mean, it's her job to get this over the finish line. Like we know Joe Shane is a hardline negotiator who rubs a lot of people the wrong way. Okay. That's what he is. He has a reputation with agents, with players, with a lot of Saquon's good friends. He is a hard line, why don't you see it my way kind of guy. Dawn Aponte is the new Kevin Abrams. Kevin Abrams is the one who got the Leonard Williams deal over the threshold a couple years ago when he got him and Gettleman were butting heads. It's Dawn Aponte's job to make Joel Siegel see it the team's way, or to his agent, or to come up with something creative that doesn't hurt the team too much, or whatever, or to advise, Harbaugh's going to say, like, get this done. I want this guy. Like, yeah. And she's going to have to do it.
Yeah, and the fact that he said he's not just doing the off-season program, he's not going to be attending, the fact that he said he's requesting a trade reminds me of Myles Garrett. I mean, Myles Garrett drew a line in the sand, and then they worked the deal out and everything was fine. So is it similar to that as well? That's kind of the extra caveat, like, hey, trade me, because he knows that, hey, Garrett, said the same thing, and they worked out a deal, and just putting the pressure on.
This is the time, right? Like, trade me. So, hey, you got 3 weeks. You can get extra draft picks if you want to get rid of me. Like, if you say trade me in May, a team's going to say no. Like, that I'm not getting anything that's going to help me this season in May. No, I'm not trading you in May. You say it 3 weeks before the draft, and now a team that doesn't have a lot of draft picks can consider being traded. I think Dexter Lawrence wants to stay here based on my conversations with him over the years. I also think he's seen his buddies win Super Bowls the last 2 years with other teams. I don't think he'd hate being traded to the Bears or the Texans or some team where he can go join a contender. I don't think he'd hate that. So I don't think I think it's good timing on his part. I think he also sees leverage. One, Giants let Wan'Dale go. Add him to the list of good homegrown players who will keep walking out the door and pissing off the fans. Mm-hmm. So now you're going to let Dexter go too. And 2, they might have the worst defensive tackle depth chart.
I was just going to say, there's really nobody after.
So, like, what are you going to, like, if Brian Burns requested a trade, you'd be like, okay, like, you're great, but we have Abdul and we have Kayvon, so let's see what you could get for Brian Burns. Like, Dexter Lawrence is like, bro, you want to see what you want to play defense without me? Let me know how that goes. Yeah. Like, he has that leverage that they did nothing. He didn't request a trade on March 14th. He waited until they did absolutely nothing in free agency on defensive tackle, and then is like, okay, they really need me.
Yeah, and they have the Giants a little bit over a barrel in that way. His agent's pretty smart. Dexter's pretty smart in that fashion, because you're right. Without him being there, it is a disaster at defensive tackle. You don't think they can stop the run now? If Dexter Lawrence isn't here, they're never stopping the run.
Yes.
So one of your colleagues a couple hours ago said that in his conversations with a couple folks around the league when the news broke that from a trade perspective, he would command a late first rounder. Is that still something that you think is accurate?
I sent the text out to a couple people. I got 2 replies. One was he's better than Quinnen Williams, so you should be able to get more for him than Quinnen Williams. Now, look, some people are going to say to you, no, the Cowboys overpaid. I'm not paying for the Cowboys' mistake. But some people say, like, no, that's the most recent comp. They got a first and a second and Mozzie Smith. So you should be able to get a first and a second. Somebody else replied to me and said he's worth a late first in 26 and a day 2 pick in 27. Typically, a year later, so you subtract a round or whatever. So let's say he's worth a first and a third, a first and a future third. Now the difference is Quinnen Williams the Cowboys didn't have to pay Quinnen Williams a new contract. The new team is going to have to pay Dexter Lawrence a new contract. So that takes away from how much they are willing to give up in a trade.
Chris, let's talk about.
Yes, I do think a first round pick would be involved.
Okay, yeah, that's kind of what the conversation's going around in the last 2 hours. Chris, let's just talk about Harbaugh for a second. I know everybody's bowing at the altar, right? 18 years, all those playoff runs, a Super Bowl, everybody's bowing. I'm included. I'm excited about John Harbaugh, right? This is something that needs to get done, Chris. It's not a good way to start off and losing your best defensive player, the defensive face of the franchise. The fans absolutely love him with good right. He's been awesome to the fans. He's been, a model citizen on and off the field. What would this say if Harbaugh couldn't get this done? I kind of feel like the fans are going to burn something down.
Craig was saying Harbaugh, but there's pieces in place to take care of this stuff. And a big part of it is Dawn Aponte, who's come over. But he is part of it.
But Chris, he is the $20 million head coach.
Of course. Now tomorrow
he wanted to be the shot caller. Well, here's your first.
Right. Yeah. Well, Ryan, I would think behind the scenes, right? I mean, this is a major conversation between him, Dawn Aponte, and Joe Shane. And tomorrow, as Ryan will probably allude to, they meet with the media, right? It's going to be Harbaugh and then the coordinators. So this is going to be something that's going to be, I'm sure, on the top of the list, with Harbaugh. But it just came out today. I'm sure it's going to take, let's give it a little time to breathe and pump the brakes. But I would think that in terms of a PR, I think the last thing they want to do is let Dexter walk. I mean, he's been such a great player in terms of his personality, his disposition, the way he plays on the field. I mean, this would be a big PR hit, similar to maybe a Barkley at a different level with a guy like Dex if he were to leave. So and to Ryan's point, they have nobody. I mean, they picked up the free agent last week for a defensive tackle. That's it, man, or nose tackle. There's really nobody else. I mean,
And Chris, you can't come into the New York Giants, become the head coach, and say, I'm skipping over the GM. I'm going to report right to the owner. And the first real piece of business is losing Dexter Lawrence. That is not a good look. I don't care
Ryan
if Aponte's
before,
there
this
now.
was something that should have been taken care of last year, and it's permeated and it's gone into this year. Let's see what happens the next couple.
The Giants, for as long as I've been covering them, which is Gettleman and Shane, are always reactive to contract situations. They are never proactive to contract situations. The only time that I can remember them being proactive was Andrew Thomas. The only time they got him done before the tackle market exploded. They saw he was a good player. They got that done, and that contract has given them value. Wandale would still be here if they gave him $13 million last summer, and instead they waited and he got $18 million somewhere else. Saquon would still be here if they gave him $11.5 million when they were trying to give him $9 million or whatever. And then now he's making $20 million. They're always reactive. So they probably should have just taken care of Dex last year off his good year. Because now they want to be like, well, you had a bad year. We're not going to pay you. He's like, okay. So let me know how this goes. Where in some world he doesn't get traded, has to play on his contract, and has a good year next year, he's going to want $40 million.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's exactly what's going to happen. Well, let me throw the wild card in here. We all know that the Maras, all the way back from Wellington and through John, they have their favorite guys, right? I mean, I used to tell the story all the time, famous story that Jeremy Shockey's rolling out of a late night, walking in a rainstorm, in downtown Manhattan, and a limo pulls over, and it's Wellington Mara, and he says, "Shockey, what are you doing?" He's like, "Oh, hey, Mr. Mara, just on my way home." And he says, "Jeremy, get in the car," and Wellington drives Jeremy Shockey, soaked to the bone, home so he doesn't drink and drive, or he doesn't.
I never heard that.
Yeah, great story. It came out when Shockey was a player. He was on the front of ESPN, the magazine, and they tell that story because Shockey was one of the only players that got invited to Wellington's funeral, and he went. And I know Mara's got some guys, like, of course, like Eli.
Tiki too. Tiki was the same way.
Yeah, like there's guys they just really like. I'd have to think, Ryan, please, like, if you have any insight, let us know. Okay, because I'd have to think John Mara would be like, "Look, I gave you the keys to the kingdom. I am letting you, surpass Shane. Do not let Dexter Lawrence walk out this door."
Well, why? He didn't? No, I don't think he would do that. I mean, Saquon was his favorite player on the current edition of the Giants, and he left Joe Shane to do that and screw that up. So
I don't think he'd do it again.
Oh, this is a different guy in charge. I don't think he'd let Joe Shane and Brian Daboll screw up Dexter Lawrence, but this is John Harbaugh, who he gave $20 million to. So I think he'd let John Harbaugh do what John Harbaugh wants to do. So I don't think he would get. I don't think ownership will get in the way. I think John Harbaugh will make the final call.
And your opinion is it's going to be the right call?
My opinion is Don Aponte is going to come back to Harbaugh and say, "Look, he'll sign for this, or we have to trade him." And then it'll be Harbaugh's call to say, "Yeah, I do think he's worth $27 million a year," or "I don't think he's worth $27 million a year."
Chris, if he leaves,
and that's what I think it's going to be, $27 million a year.
27, okay, which is $1 million more than Jordan Davis.
Correct.
Chris, if he does leave,
it's not going to be a penny less than Jordan Davis.
No. And by the way, do right. We all know that even with an off year, Dexter Lawrence is still a top 5 defensive tackle in the NFL. He's getting paid like the 12th guy. Yeah. So he's definitely, so
he's getting 18.5 this year, I think.
Yeah.
On the spot track. So yeah.
Well, he's getting $20 million in cash, 18.5 salary, 1.5 bonus. But it's not really about that. It's about new money, it's about guaranteed money, and it's about AAV, your average annual value. So that's the point of pride for guys, is where do I come?
Would you think, Ryan, this would be ripping up the contract in like a 3-year deal type of thing?
I don't know. I mean, added on to the to be honest with you, as long as I cover the NFL, I'm not even sure I really understand like ripping up a contract versus adding on to the contract. I don't like I think when it's all said and done, whether they rip it up and have a new one, I think it would be probably 4 years and 110.
Right. I'm only thinking if you rip it up,
added to the current one, or
whether
that's added to the current one or ripped up, or 4 and 110 with the usual whatever percentage guaranteed.
Chris, since he signed his original contract, there's been a huge surge in signing defensive tackles to big money. There really shouldn't be a lot of pushback here from I think from upper management. Like, I don't know anybody that wants to get rid of him. I'm going to ask you this, and it might be hard for you to give me a scenario, but give me the scenario that maybe 10% of Giants fans, I don't know, 15% of Giants fans think that it's time to move on. What would be the reason to move on from Dexter?
I think for those Giant fans, it's just looking at last year. Oh, he's lost it. He's not the same player. I don't want to hear about his elbow. He's lost the step. He came in overweight. Those are those fans that are just
his body's not going to hold up over his body's not.
Those are those fans that really just don't dig deep and they just look at the surface. I mean, there's a lot that goes into. Listen, what is he supposed to do?
And there's the argument of, hey, what are we going to get? Like, if I'm getting a first and a second for him, people will hear that and say, oh, that's great, except the odds of getting a first and a second that are Yeah, great. You get a first and a second. Here's Deonte Banks and John Michael Schmitz. So
Yeah, and the defensive, the tackle position is very thin. I think that plays a
this
big part
draft,
there.
it's very thin. Yes.
Dexter Lawrence has a New York Giants tattoo.
Yes.
I
good
mean,
point. I
it
forgot
takes
about
up half his bicep and forearm. I mean, it's like the guy's a giant. I'm sure he wants to be a giant. I would be pretty.
He's talked to me about wanting to be in the Ring of Honor, wanting to go in the Hall of Fame as a Giant. I've talked to him about this stuff. So, like, I don't think he wants to be traded. Think he wants to be respected. But again, nobody wants to believe me when I say this. I say this till I literally turn blue in the face. Saquon Barkley wanted to be a Giant. He didn't want to leave. He didn't want to go to the Eagles. He wanted to be a Giant. Nobody believes this. Everybody thinks this was like some conspiracy, like Saquon said things he didn't mean. No, he meant it all until you pushed him out the door and he felt unwanted. And then where's the second place I want to go? Oh, I'll play at home so my daughter and her grandparents can be close. I don't have to move to Houston. Like, Dexter Lawrence wants to be here. Make him feel disrespected enough. Make him feel unwanted enough. Make him feel like you're never going to win. And he'll go to the Cowboys.
Yep. And you know what? I don't anyway, on our side, superstars that play on the Giants, I don't know many superstars that have ever been like, man, I just got to get out of here. Even when times are bad, New York's a very special place. Now, again, I know it's a little bit different in the last 6 months. It's been a little bit different, but overall, if you go back through the OCU Manuras and the Strahans and the, Antonio Pierce and the Victor Cruzes and all these guys, they love being here.
Did OC request a trade at one point?
At one point, there was a contract problem.
Yep.
Yeah,
and if you remember,
August 2011, he requested a trade.
Yep. And if you remember,
the only other one I can remember.
And when he went to Atlanta, they wouldn't even use him because of the defense. As a defense end, they made him a linebacker, right? So
he was situational too at certain times.
Yeah. So in hindsight, most of these guys, like, they want to stay, but if you don't make them feel wanted, they will go, right? Nobody's going to beg to stay. Not superstars with big egos. They want to be here. And again, Dexter Lawrence has been the model citizen since he has been here on and off the field. It would be a shame if they blow this, especially again, it's definitely not a good look. It's definitely not good optics for John Harbaugh if it did happen. And I know, Chris, you're saying like, it's this, that, and the other. You don't get paid that kind of money to be the guy, and your first piece of business is losing the face of the defense. So,
and I have a lot more confidence in this regime versus, when Shane and Dable, Shane's still here, but, calling the shot. So I think there's a little more confidence that something will get done with new people, with Harbaugh and Aponte leading the charge.
Love that.
If that's what they choose to do. I mean, hope it is.
And the Jordan Davis thing, probably, Ryan, you said that was kind of like the
powder keg, yeah.
The powder keg part of it. Is there a relationship there, or they're just a contract watching?
What do you mean?
Is Jordan Davis and Dexter maybe have a relationship?
I don't know about that. I just know that all I know is that contract was let's say the final straw that, like, this guy's making $26 million. I'm better than this guy. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
and you can't blame his agent, Joel Siegel.
And it started with Milton Williams.
He's doing his job.
Milton Williams wasn't even a starter for the Eagles and got $26 million last year. I think that if you're looking for, like, I think that's lit the spark, and I think Jordan Davis, made it go boom. So.
And for the record, I know we talk about this with Eli Manning. I just want to mention this again. I mentioned it earlier when we turned the show on, is he didn't even miss a game till 2024. That's, and when you're a defensive tackle, I mean, this guy's stepping on you, falling on you. Like these big guys, they're moving a lot of weight around. The guy's pretty durable. I mean, for 7 seasons, you play 4 years without missing a game. That's a lot. That's good work. It goes under discussed, or I don't know what the word is. It's not a very popular topic, I guess. What I'm trying to say is Eli Manning played for 16 years without missing a game. Dexter Lawrence has just played 5 years without missing a game. Like, you got to value some of these guys, right? What's the best availability, right? You got to be available.
So I talked to Julian Love at the Super Bowl, and I asked him about Dex because I had a feeling this was coming. And I said to him, I said to Julian, who's one of Dex's best friends, I said, how much do you appreciate that? Like, he wants to be with the Giants, and he hasn't asked for a trade yet. He said, Dex is the best player I've ever played with. Remember, this guy just won a Super Bowl with the Seahawks. Dex is the best player I've ever played with. I want him to continue to get that shine, but I know it's hard for those guys over there to lose. The cream always rises. Hopefully Dex can make the best out of any situation. Hopefully they turn it around for him there. I talk to him. He shows up every day, deals with a lot, and through it all never makes it about himself. It's so easy to go that way where you make it about yourself, and Dex has never gone that way. I think that needs to be appreciated and respected. He's the same person every day through dark times. Only the 1% of the 1% are able to do that. So this is the first time, this is me talking now. This is the first time Dex has kind of made it about himself. And that's because he's a smart guy. He sees what happened to the guys who don't make it about themselves, like Saquon. He got pushed out the door, so he's not going to let that happen.
Yeah,
he's got to make it about himself.
Ryan, let's say a trade does go down and they don't honor, what he wants in his contract. Like, how much of a PR hit would this be and air out of the balloon?
I mean, I guess it depends. I mean, it depends. If they got the number 10 pick in the draft or something from somebody, then you're going to be like, okay, well, now they're going to be able to address corner with Mansour Delane, and people will be excited about that because people love draft picks who have never played a game in the world. But like PR hit, it might not be it would be a devastating locker room hit. The locker room would be devastated if Dexter Lawrence was traded. Like, I don't know what Joe Fan will think. He'll probably be like, oh, we get younger and we get to replace. We already have a lot of defensive linemen, and now we get a young corner. Like, any fan will be able to sell himself on anything. Like, there are people who think the Giants are going to win the Super Bowl this year. So, like, any fan can sell himself on anything on April 6th. The locker room would be devastated. Yeah.
And Ryan, last thing, when do you think we hear something about numbers? You think that comes out next couple of days, or that's something that's going to kind of keep quiet until it actually gets done?
What numbers he's seeking?
Yeah, and I know they're going off of, some of the other.
I'm telling you what numbers he's seeking. He wants to be above $26 million.
Yeah, so, that Jordan Davis.
Whether that's 27 or 30 or 29, I don't think he wants to be above Chris Jones. I think he realizes that is a little unrealistic and
under that 30 mark then.
The guys won 3 Super Bowls there and whatnot. Like, but that 26 to 31, that's a big range. So like somewhere in there.
Yep.
Chris, top of the market right now is 31.75 million.
Yeah, I don't.
That's your Chris Jones money.
Yeah, he's not getting there.
Under 30, right? Yeah.
So, that's all good stuff. Ask me, Ryan. I wanted to ask you, kind of changing gears a little bit. I was going to say I wanted to do love hate because we're coming up to the draft, so I wanted to hit this real fast. Love hate edition, with the draft coming up, Ryan, is there's smoke, there's non-smoke, and there's people, you see the whole Giant upper management are at, the Ohio State pro days. Give me something, Ryan, you love about the 3 weeks up to the draft. Give me something you hate leading up to the draft, because I had a guy say to me yesterday, this is not me making something up to make people laugh. Guy said to me today, maybe it was this morning. It was such a blur because I was like, what did you just say? He said Sonny Styles is terrible and that he can't tackle. So I'm like, all right, well, he sounded pretty, secure in his take. So I looked it up. I'm like, Cat's got like 280 tackles in 3 years. What are you talking about? So my question to you is like, and you've been, covering the Giants for 8 to 9 years now. What do you love about this period of time up to the draft, and what do you hate?
You mean from a reporter standpoint?
Yeah, well, a reporter, a fan, anything.
I hate not knowing who is right. Like I get texts every week, every day. I don't know, 4 times a week. Like they're going with Downs, and it's like okay, I feel good about that. And then like somebody else I trust will text me, it's Love all the way, and like it's very like it's very like I was on a good streak for a couple years of knowing who their pick was going to be, and then I bid on McCarthy, and I got that wrong. That turned out to be smoke, and I bid on it. And last year, they were very in on Shedeur Sanders, and then they then they let him fall to the 5th round, and people think they weren't, and it makes me look bad, but like they were. I'm not unquestionably they were in on Shedeur Sanders. I just hate I hate smoke screens, I guess. I hate when I get bad information. That's probably what I hate the most.
What do you love then?
I love mock trades. I love mock trades. I love trying to figure out like okay, like if they can get from 5 to 9, they get a third. They can get a 3rd round pick, and then
really?
like, okay, now they can get now how do I fill all their needs? Okay, at 9 I'll take a linebacker. At 37 I'll take a guard. At 68 I'll take a defensive tackle, and then I feel like I just filled all their needs, and that must be how they feel. I'm like at every pick I made is a home run, and I just filled all their needs. I got a starting guard. I got a starting corner. I got a starting defensive tackle. I love mock trades.
Oh my God, that's hysterical. See, you heard it here first. I would never know that because I don't do the mock drafts because they frustrate the heck out of me, right? Chris, how about you? Give me something you love leading up to the draft here and something that you can't stand.
Okay. Love leading up to the draft. I like the well, let me give you the hate first. What can I give you the hate first?
Please, yeah.
I hate the rises during the combine. Rather than going, I mean, they did go off of the tape, but I don't like the risers because they're running around and athletic-wise they're doing fantastic at the combine, and then you see them get hyped up. So I'm not crazy about that. I do understand why it happens, but you see more times than not these guys, it doesn't pan out. What I love, maybe to go off of what Ryan said, I like all the different rumors and scenarios that you do here leading up to the draft. And I like the fact that day 1 is only 1 pick because you see these GMs between day 1 and 2 getting 24 hours to actually contemplate deals. So I like that part is that day 2, you see a lot of movement sometimes with players and GMs because you get that 24-hour period until that 2nd round where things can happen.
Interesting. All right. I was just saying, I always love the kind of like the sleeper pick. Like, so when we do our stuff, like I'm always a tight end guy, right? I will spend hours looking at all the tight ends across college football. And then there's a guy, that played at Washington or played at Arizona State or played at listen, I remember doing the review on Likely from Coastal Carolina, and everyone's like, nobody comes out of Coastal Carolina. I'm like, well, this cat can run a 4.34 at Coastal Carolina. Someone's going to draft this guy. So I love finding a guy who's not quite a diamond in the rough, but like at a position like tight end, some of these guys turn out to be all pro. And they got look at Theo. Theo caught 40 balls at Penn State. They just didn't throw him the ball, right? And then you turn around and you find another guy that only got 40 balls thrown to him, and then he becomes an all-pro. I used to say like Ferguson, right? Or, Likely. Some of these guys, I love finding the guys that, again, if you're a fan of the team, you know who they are, right? It's easy to find a Big Ten tight end, right? Or let's say, of course, Iowa is going to spit out great tight ends, and Miami is going to spit out great tight ends. But is Cincinnati? Yeah, they do sometimes, right? So I love finding that little bit of a diamond in a rough. And when you find out about him first, or you've done enough work on the cat, and you're like, I told you guys months ago this guy was going to work out. The hate part, what Ryan was just saying, I hate all the mocks that want to draft players that don't make sense, right? Like, because trust me, I know Love is a wonderful player and he's going to be a great pro and he's going to make somebody great. But it hurts my head watching people talk, oh, God, look at this great mock draft I did with Love going to the Giants. And I'm just like, I get it, but it's just not what they need. It's not.
But hold on. What they need doesn't mean that's not. If I don't do mock drafts. I don't produce one. If I did a mock draft today, I would have Jeremiah Love going to the Giants. It's not what they need, but that's what my information tells me. And my goal is to get
arguably the best player in the draft, right?
Yeah. And I don't see because I find it subjective, right? If you look at all the boards across the NFL, I would guarantee picks 1 through 5 are all the same on everybody's board. It's subjective. So best player available is subjective. You're saying to me it's Love. Somebody right next to you is saying it's Downs, right? Correct. It's subjective. So
it's based on the information you get. Like,
correct.
If I talk to these 3 assistant GMs and you talk to those 3 assistant GMs, then those 3 assistant GMs talk to Joe Shane, but those 3 assistant GMs talk to John Harbaugh. You might get different secondhand information.
Hey, Ryan, just to go off of that, just your opinion, John Harbaugh comes in. This isn't his scouting department. How much weight does he actually put into this Giants scouting department versus what he's seen with his own eyes and what he witnessed leaving on these with Baltimore?
Well, he's evaluating them, so he's paying very close attention to everything. So this is by May 10th, they'll have fired 3 scouts.
I was just going to ask you that. I would think there will be a turnover. In your opinion,
yeah, there'll be a turnover. Yeah. That's everywhere. So that's when contracts expire. So so that's just normal, even when there's not a regime change. So so he's evaluating them. How much stock does he put in them? The thing around the NFL is that they say you don't put a lot of stock in them, and especially Harbaugh in an inherited staff, especially Harbaugh, who watches a ton of tape on his own more than most head coaches do. So you would say probably not a ton. Where I think they would lean on the most is character stuff. Like, he can watch the tape. He isn't calling the Ohio State football director of operations to find out what kind of human being Caleb Downs is. So where you really rely on the scouts, especially the inherited ones, is the character stuff. Is like,
can we expect?
Is he on time to meetings? Is he stuff? Because Harbaugh can watch the tape and tell you if he's agile, if he's if he's got good instincts, if he's where he's supposed to be. He can't tell you. He's not going to call up 30 head coaches and find out, like, hey, is this guy a dog in practice? That kind of stuff. That's where you lean on him. I would say this, though. Joe Shane's best draft was 2022 when he had inherited scouts. So maybe that Giant scouting staff was better than they got credit for.
Right. And I would expect Harbaugh probably has his eye on expiring contracts with Baltimore on some of their scouts that maybe.
Yeah. Or San Diego. I always call them San Diego.
Yep.
Or the Chargers.
Yeah. The Chargers.
Yeah. Or the Seahawks, because Mike McDonald.
Yeah. Right.
Yep.
Good point.
Everybody keeps friends around the league, right?
Oh, yeah.
Chris, I saw your tweet
today. I wasn't at the owners' meetings, but I heard that during the owners' meetings party, where like everybody kind of mingles with everybody, John Harbaugh is like the mayor. Like everybody knows John Harbaugh. You know what I mean? So we named 3 organizations he has ties to. We don't realize Andy Reid's one of his best friends. Like,
sure. 18 years he stand to test
everybody. John Harbaugh has everybody's phone number. So like his tree is very expansive. So he's not just plucking people he knows. There's a good chance he knows the Texans, scouting director, and could hire him just from years of being together. So,
Chris, you mentioned earlier today about the Giants signing another offensive lineman on a 1-year deal, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the Giants have had, I guess Harbaugh and Shane have plucked a bunch of, and they're like 1-year deals. Ryan, Chris is always on top of the roster, and he shares with us each week, the guys they add.
Let me just add, he was also undrafted, added Duke, so he's played a bunch of years, but he's a piece.
And he's a guard, correct?
He's a guard, yeah.
Guard / center.
Yeah.
Center too, right? He played. Yep.
Does so you've got like is this
The best
mean,
part about this guy, Craig, the best part about this guy was I got to write a fun lead. That was the best part about this guy. Never trust a man with 2 first names, except the Giants are going to try to trust either Evan Neal or Lucas Patrick with to play right guard.
Very good.
funny. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. I will remember that because I was going to ask if that's a nail in the GVR coffin.
Nail, I don't know, but it definitely closed a little more. It might just be open a crack.
Am I missing something? I mean, he's not a bad player and he's a good backup.
No, GVR is a average, and I mean that in a compliment. Like, he's an average player, and he might even be above average when you consider you were just praising Dexter Lawrence's durability. GVR hasn't missed a game due to injury since 2020, and he hasn't missed a snap in 2 years as a Giant. Like, durability on the offensive line is something that gets you paid.
Well, what are we missing, though? Because they're not giving him any love at all. And by the way, he can snap, too, so he can also play center.
Yeah, that's why I think Lucas Patrick. I'm not getting his name wrong, right? Lucas Patrick.
No, you got it. Yeah.
That's why I think he's probably a GVR replacement or insurance. Like, yeah, I would say it closed a little tighter. What do I think? I think GVR is asking for a slight raise from 3.25 last year, maybe 4.5. I don't know the exact number, but a slight raise. And I think the Giants are playing chicken with him, like, see if somebody else will give you that. And they know he wants to be home because he's from Long Island, so they're hoping he'll take a hometown discount. Like, okay, you want a 3.5 to move your family to Tennessee? Go do that. You know what I mean? Like, I think they're playing chicken with him a little bit.
Yeah, because I actually like GVR. Like, again, he can snap in a pinch. He doesn't miss snaps. He's got a mean streak in him. Chris, we were surprised, right? I mean, how durable he was, and he played well last year.
He did, and the same thing with Schlotman. Schlotman left too, and he was decent, filling in for Schmidt. So that's another area that they lost.
Yeah. So I was just kind of curious if this new cat that they just signed was the end of GVR. You're saying it's getting smaller. The window's getting smaller.
Hey, here's a good tweet. Robert Randolph. I give the guy credit for having his true name on his Twitter account. Replying about Dexter Lawrence. They don't need him, Ryan. Time to move on. Like, you don't need him.
Kick him to the curb.
What? How does this stuff happen? How does this happen?
Bad elbow, overweight. It's over.
This is what I'm saying about, like, you need good players. The Giants do not. This is my Saquon argument. You need good play. At some point, you have to have good players.
Yeah.
And, like,
I'm the first one to say I don't.
4 years. You're going to spend 4 years trying to replace Dexter Lawrence.
Yeah, it's hard enough to fill the roster. Now you're constantly replacing good players.
Yeah.
I understand some guys do leave, but yeah, you can't keep replacing the.
Chris, I'm the first one to say I thought this from day one of the season. He looked heavy. Okay. Like, now again, I know he's an all-world athlete and it shouldn't matter, but it does. It definitely matters. And if you have a bad elbow, right? So I do, and again, I'm not saying this like for any other reason than maybe he came in, he didn't work as hard in the offseason. Maybe, he had a baby, maybe they're at home, maybe whatever it is, he came in.
But he's not washed.
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying he came in a little heavy for whatever reason, right?
I think the elbow was even bigger issue.
The elbow.
I felt like he had no push. So, like he normally.
All of it combined, new family or expanded family, bad elbow. Maybe he's at home, eating and not.
And think about it. He's not going to go and say his elbows bother him. They're going to target him. He's not going to, complain about it. He's going to just.
Because if he gets paid, I'm serious. If he gets paid, he's going to come back with some vengeance without a doubt because he's got a lot of pride and he should.
He is not. That is one thing I'll say confidently. He is not the kind of guy, and there are these guys in the NFL who gets paid and then gets paid and then
Yeah,
basically
drift
says,
off.
"See you later."
Albert Hainsworth. He's not an Albert
Yeah,
Hainsworth.
yeah, exactly. The guy on the Jets did that. Muhammad Wilkerson.
Oh, yeah.
The Giants, Dexter Lawrence, I am confident is not that kind of human being.
Yeah, and by the way, again, I have no knowledge of this, but just opinion wise, if you've been waiting for 2 years for a contract, maybe you're not putting the extra work in.
Yeah, I don't know that, but that's possible. I'm not gonna say it's not true
because I'm a big fan. I want him back. I know if you pay him, he's happy, and he leads that locker room. Everybody wants to be around him. It's good for the team morale. It's good for the young guys that are coming in. I don't know. I hope it gets done.
There's going to be a generation of Giants fans who grew up never knowing what like a lifetime Giant, like never knowing what a lifetime Giant looks like at this point. Like OBJ got traded, Saquon left in free agency, Xavier McKinney left in free agency. At some point, you're going to need another Eli Manning or another. I know Justin Thomas OC left for a year, but
Andrew Thomas is your guy.
Okay, you better take care of Andrew Thomas then, because Andrew Thomas's contract is outdated too. He's been injured a lot, so he played this year. If he plays again next year at a really high level, he'll be knocking on your door.
Yeah. Ryan, you're the only professional on this show right now, so let me ask you.
Thanks.
Does a deal includes me too? No, does a deal get done? Do you think a deal gets done?
Yes, I do. Okay. I think a deal gets done. Yes. Yeah.
Thank goodness, because I'm like, I saw it today. And I was ready to burn my tickets. I was like, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not driving 2 hours through the game.
You have to melt 4 hours. You have to melt your phone, Craig. We don't get paper tickets anymore.
Seriously, then the phone's got to go because, listen, Chris, you know how it is. Everyone's asleep, and I'm the only nitwit at 2:00 in the morning driving 2.5 hours down the turnpike after they got their ass kicked on Monday night, Sunday night, and Thursday night. And I'm like, if you get rid of Dexter Lawrence, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I'm already a menace on the road at 2 a.m. after a Monday night, Sunday night, and Thursday night game. And you're going to trade away the best defensive player you have? Well, again, don't get me wrong. Brian Burns had an exceptional year.
Brian Burns will be the first one to tell you that he doesn't have that kind of year without Dex taking double teams in the middle of the field.
Wow, that's great.
All right, so let me ask this, Ryan, and we don't need to go too in-depth in this because we've been arguing like mad over it for the last 2 weeks. To me, it just reeks of desperation. I can't wrap my head around any part of it. What's your take on the OBJ, him hunting down Harbaugh, all this shenanigans and just, I don't know. It's a big clown show out there. What's your take now where this whole thing lies on OBJ? Is it a
I think OBJ wants to finish his career with the Giants. He knows that the Giants fans still love him, so he knows that that's probably the place there's the most public sentiment for him to come back to. I mean, use an analogy here. I think OBJ in this situation, we've all done this or had this done to us, right? Where somebody in a romantic relationship wants the other person more than they want him. I think OBJ really wants the Giants, and I think the Giants are lukewarm on OBJ. So I'm not this was Dan Duggan's line while I was on vacation. I'm not going to steal it. I'll quote it. I'll take it seriously when he comes in for a workout. They're not going to sign him until they see what he has left. I'll take it seriously when they bring it. It's nice that he showed up in Arizona. Shocking that he made it all about him, but I will believe it's serious. Of course, John Harbaugh is going to take the meeting when he shows up. What's John Harbaugh not? Hey, coach, I'm here. Can you come downstairs? No, like of course he took the meeting.
And Ryan, this could be a case of
like they summoned him there for a meeting. He showed up on his own. I was in the lobby in Indianapolis one time when Derek Carr was like just sitting in the Indianapolis lobby meeting with teams. Like anybody who wanted to walk by can talk to Derek Carr. So like, I'm not, I think he wants them more than they want him. I don't think the door's closed, but he's not at the top of their priorities list right now. So I'll believe it when he comes in for a meeting.
And I would think, Ryan, because like a lot of free agents right now, they get held off till after the draft, and maybe this gets revisited once the draft is over with.
Yeah, I don't think he would factor into the comp pick formula, but he didn't even play last year.
He didn't play last year, right?
Yeah. So,
but the fact is to see where the pieces are, right? I mean, if they would add a couple of receivers, then that might change things.
Yeah.
Ryan, what's your thoughts? I had said this last week, and Chris and Sean were ganging up on me. I said that my thing with OBJ is, fine, if you're going to give him a pass and give him an invite and so forth. If you're the fourth wide receiver, if you're the fifth wide receiver on the New York Giants, you have to play special teams. Is that something that, and he's we all know he can return punts and kickoffs. Would that be something he would still entertain?
Yeah, I don't know that, but yeah, I think to get back in the league, he'd do whatever you asked him to do. Yeah. So, yeah, I think so. Now, I don't know that he's going to be a gunner for you, but
no, I'm just talking about returning.
Put the ball in his hands. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Because that way you're not dependent on Gunner to take all the returns.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't know if he has anything. I don't think he's explosive anymore. So, yeah, you could put him back there. I don't know that he's going to do it any better than Darius Slayton does it.
Well, at least he'll catch it.
Darius Slayton catches
he does. He's been right on punts. He has.
Love it.
Still don't trust him.
All right, before I let you go, so it is 3 weeks of the draft. You are excited about your mocks and
mock trades. I don't care about
mock trades, and you do not like bad information. So let's talk about the potential bad information that you're getting. Where are we in the big picture on is it still a 3-man race? Is it Styles, Love, and Downs? Or is there a dark horse in here that's an offensive lineman from Penn State or Miami or something?
So I would tell you this. I would say I think that the Giants' strong preference is to trade down within the top 10, where they would get somebody they really like at a better value than they would take him at 5. So Sonny Styles might be out on that equation, but I think they would live with that to get Delane or Vega from Penn State or Downs at 9 or 10 and pick up extra draft capital. Or Love could be gone by then. I think they would sacrifice Love or Styles to get extra draft capital and know that they're still getting a player they covet at 9 or 10. I think that would be their strong preference based on my information.
And 9 or 10 would be a lineman?
9 or 10 could be Caleb Downs. I'm not sure he'd be gone before then. 9 or 10 could be Caleb Downs. I would say my guess would be it would be Caleb Downs. It could be Vega. It could be Malagoa, who I know that they like. It could be, though Malagoa is probably gone by then. It could be Vega, and it could be Delane, the corner. So I would guess Downs based on right now on 8:30 on April 6th. I would say Downs is on a trade down. At 5, I would probably say Jeremiah Love. That would be my right now on July 6th at 8:30. I would say on April 6th at 8:30. I would say Jeremiah Love if they stay at 5. That's the information I have. So
not
I don't, but I believe they would like to trade. And if they don't trade down at 5, I would say you could almost lock them in to trade down from 37. So somewhere in that first 2 rounds, they want to make it. They want more picks. So.
Yeah, and we all know we've talked. You and I, Ryan, have talked about it numerous times on how Harbaugh has traded, 17 of 18 seasons. Getting rid of 37 would that still potentially give them a 3 or no?
Yeah, it depends how. Not to move from 37 to 40, but if you move from, let's pull up. This is the stuff I like. This is the stuff.
It's what I'm here for.
Draft trade chart. I know this chart's a little outdated, but if we use the draft trade chart, right, then from 37 is worth 530 points. So say you traded down to the end of the round. Say you traded down with the Niners to 320, then you could trade down from 37 to 57, let's say, and you get 57 and like 77. So yeah, 37 for 57 and 77. Then all of a you still have a second and a third. Your second is just 20 picks later.
So you'd be at the end of the second and midway through the third.
Correct.
Or no? 50,
Yes.
50 would be, yeah. Okay. Chris,
So, yeah,
you buy that, Chris? Would you be happy with a late second and a mid-round third that you pick
I think
up?
so. And I think at some point they're going to try and get that third. I do. I think it's going to happen. I think Harbaugh wants that third round.
Because that 3 has a lot of weight
yeah.
for a lineman or a linebacker if you don't take Styles, or a wide receiver.
And moving back on that second to get that 3. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. I guess if you get who you want at 5, or if you trade back, it'd be interesting though. We talked about it when they drafted Lamar. They moved around 6 times. Yeah. So
that could be the spot for the guard. That 3 could be the spot for that guard.
Yep. Yeah. Dash is saying Rutledge. It's potentially because there are gonna. Third round is just a great spot to draft an all-pro guard. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm 57 though. 57. Yeah. There are some third round linebackers you can get if you're not taking Styles. All right, then Ryan, let me ask you this. If you do stay at 5 and it's not Love, you're saying it's Downs or Styles because you haven't mentioned Styles.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes. I would say those 3 at 5, but I would say Downs more likely on a trade down.
So why did this guy Ryan tell me that he didn't like? Now I didn't get into it with him because he hurt.
No
my
one
head.
has said. I don't watch every Ohio State game, but no one has questioned his tackling to me when I've asked about it.
Craig, maybe part of it is like he's what, about 240? He's gonna be playing in the middle. He's lengthy.
He's
maybe
got
there's
that
some question with
Isaiah.
that.
He's got that Isaiah Simmons body style.
Is he?
No, that's scary in its own right.
Is he strong enough to take on a guard and shed? Right? Is that something at this level?
But
that
isn't
he's able to
it?
do
But Chris,
at
isn't it more mentality though? Because he's 4 inches taller than McFadden, and McFadden does it. Why wouldn't he be able to do it?
Well, McFadden is what?
6'2", 6'1.5",
245, 250.
Yeah. So he's 6'5", 240. Like
Okay,
if you want to hit,
all right. So he's a little shorter. Is able to get, I would say pad level is probably a little easier for him. But I don't know in terms of strength. I don't know anything about Styles with that. But is he strong enough to take on NFL guards and shed?
Yep. I'm
in the middle. I'm kind of questioning that. I don't know.
Yeah, our name says he's more of an Urlacher, which would be great because Urlacher was a big hitter.
Safety, right. Urlacher seems more compact, right? He was more of a compact type of player, wasn't he? I mean, I know he's big, obviously a little tall, but he seems. Styles looks. He's lengthy. He's long. Yeah, he's long. He's long. He may not be a thumper in the NFL, right? So, and G-Man, you don't have to break anything to me, R71, about you're not making anything revolutionary here about McFadden being the third linebacker, because there's a lot of things going on right now at the linebacker spot. One is they gave McFadden extra money because of what he had done before. 2, they signed from Chicago, who had a bad year. Okay. So who knows what it's going to be? He's coming in, he had 4 interceptions and everybody's, resting on that. Go look at his win rate. Go look at his tackle win rate. It's not good. Who knows what's going to happen at the linebacker spot if they take Styles? Most likely, yes, McFadden would be the third linebacker in that position. You're not breaking anything to me, my friend. But overall, it could be, I think, Ryan, do you believe Downs, if they're both on the board, it's Downs over Styles if they were both on the board?
No, I don't. I think it's Styles. I
Chris,
think Downs is the most likely if they trade down.
Chris, how about you? If Styles and Downs are on the board?
I think Styles is at 5, like Ryan said. I think Downs, I like him. I think his tackling's questionable and maybe his size. I don't know. I think at 5, it may be a little much.
All right, boys, I got to run.
All right, my friend,
Ryan.
we will talk to you in 2 weeks. Make sure you guys are following Ryan. Anything you break in this
2 weeks
week?
right before the draft. We'll see what
Exactly.
I got.
Anything you want us to promote? Anything you got going on?
No, I'm not. I mean, the post did a 30 for 30 draft series. Here, I'll throw my bio link in here.
There you go.
Anything people want to read? Look, it's not all Giant stuff, but I think it's interesting stuff. I think it's interesting NFL draft talk for nerds like me who like the ins and outs of the draft. So if you guys want to share that link, that's where you find all my stuff. So anything I'm writing, whatever, 30 draft stories for 30 days or whatever. Any quarterbacks. I have Mekhi Lemon tomorrow. Story on Mekhi Lemon tomorrow. Whatever else is coming. I'll have Christian Miller. I'll have a story on Christian Miller later this week. He had a top 30 visit with the Giants. He's a definite round 2 target for them. I talked to him this week. So
nice. Love it. All right, my friend. Then we'll see you in 2 weeks.
I'll see you.
All right. See you later. Chris State, you're staying here. Guys, if you have questions, throw them in the chat. We'll get to them now. So pack them in there. And by the way, let's just be honest. Like, I think, Dash just said, we're actually glad we had McFadden, right? Because, one, when he wasn't there, you noticed how bad it was. And 2, you're glad you got a third linebacker. And they paid him pretty good money, as a returning player. You don't want all these homegrown guys to walk, people.
And we need depth, right? That's been the Giants' problem a number of years, is the depth. I mean, keeping guys like McFadden, he doesn't start. It's a great depth piece. He's a starter that can come off the bench. And injuries happen. As much as we don't want to talk about injuries, because it always happens more times than not with the Giants, they're going to be injuries. The guys are going to have to play. And let's get that depth back, because we haven't had much depth.
And if you read into it a little bit, again, that's just what we do, right? We read into these things, right? We're trying to read the tea leaves. Like, if you look at the cat, from Chicago, why am I drawing a blank on his name? Edmonds. He did not have a good year, right? I think Chicago would have signed him if he had a great year.
You don't think he had a good year? Did he have 140 tackles?
No, yeah, he did. But when you look at the numbers, he was ranked like 34th in win rate, right? He had 4 interceptions, which was great.
Right.
But like his run stopping ability was not great last year. Now, again, could have been an anomaly like Dexter Lawrence, right? You have bad years, right? But no, he did not have a great year last year. I think the Giants overpaid him, but I'm hoping that he gets a little bit of a fresh atmosphere, right?
Yeah, right. And once again, the scheme, right? I mean, to me, this is something that Denard Wilson's going to be able to play to his strengths, like they're trying to do, move him around a little bit. I mean, he does have that lateral speed, right? And that's something that Okereke maybe had lost a little bit. You're going to see Edmonds fly around a little more.
I said this, and I'll say it again. If you actually watch the games, what you notice from Bobby Okereke is he's never on the ground.
I know you would say
everything is pushing guys out of bounds. He's never bringing guys down. He just, I don't know if it was the injury or what, but the guy just doesn't want to tackle and bring people to the ground. It's just not in his MO anymore.
Yeah, he played 13 games last year too, so he missed 4. But he had 112, 13 tackles.
You talking about Okereke, or are you talking about
Edmonds in 13 games?
Yeah. Yeah, I think it was more like the downhill stuff that he just did not have. And by the way, the report that I was reading was it's not for lack of effort, that he's not a very technical linebacker, right? You know what I mean? Like, he reminds me of who was the linebacker before Okereke? He used to over pursue everything.
From a few years ago.
Dallas. Before Okereke.
Yeah.
Dang, what was his name? Somebody tell me his name. Because so they said technique-wise, he's not a very technical linebacker. He does fly around, but he doesn't have a great downhill win record when it comes to like between the tackles. Outside the tackles, he's much better. He had 4 interceptions.
And that's even another reason why Dex is so important, to free him up, right? We need Dex there to help free up Edmonds as well. So just Jalen Smith, right? He played hard. He just was always at a great job, Cole. He was just always out of position. He just didn't.
Yeah. And the guy was like
He overpursued.
super athletic. He
Right.
could fly around like
Yeah.
crazy, but he'd
Yes.
run right by the tackle half the time.
Right.
You know,
It was a knockout.
so he,
Right.
I think I think he'll have a change of scenery, so it can help him out. He just so drafting Styles would push probably
Sure.
McFadden.
And you know what,
back.
Craig? I have a lot of confidence in Denard Wilson. He didn't have much to work with in Tennessee, but coming down to the Giants, he has a lot more pieces, to be creative with. So I would think, the guys that we saw last year that kind of took a step back, Newman, Holland.
Oh yes,
those guys. Even at the linebacker position, we've seen Okereke take a little step back. He's gone, but you would think Wilson could put these guys in position to even be better.
And they gave McFadden a pretty good 1-year deal. Like he didn't get like what people were talking about him getting paid like $1.5 million, $2 million. I mean, he got a good deal for 1 year, right?
Yeah,
on a prove it deal. So
I think it worked. It works for both, right? He's coming off an injury. This is a prove it deal for him, so he can make some more money maybe next year.
And by the way, to your point, it's like, why would you want him to go? Right? I mean, like, the guy had back-to-back 100 tackle seasons. He got hurt. You missed him right away when he got hurt. But you don't want to let go of your homegrown guys.
Right.
Right? I mean, he's definitely, and if Wilson's going to use him right, he's a downhill A gap, B gap type of player.
And that middle position super thin. They were already going to let go of Okereke. So, and it was before they got Edmonds that they signed him. So it was a nice, move to get him quick, because really they are thin in the middle.
100%. And then you got Musau as the other backup. So,
yeah.
I've been flip-flopping, honestly, Chris. I've been flip-flopping between, I don't want Love. I mean, if he's a giant, he's a giant, it's going to be great. Right. But there's just holes here, right? There's holes at corner. There's holes at D tackle. I can't in me find making a good move. I can't find it being a good move.
Well, I'll tell you what, Greg, if they were to go to Love at 5, it kind of tells you what the identity of this team is. And it seems like that already. This is going to be a Harbaugh team that wants to run the ball, pound the ball. And it's also going to be on the flip side on defense, a tough, aggressive defense, hopefully. But I think we see this Harbaugh, it seems like it's going to be a hard-nosed running game. As much as I love Dart and we're going to see him, do his thing, I think this is the identity of this team is going to be smash mouth, fullback, a couple running backs.
Well, and that's what I said last week when we were having this conversation. Like you're bringing in Ricard to open up holes for Scadaboo, and all of a sudden we're discounting Scadaboo. The dude was like, he was fantastic.
He's coming off an injury, and he's going to have a workload. But how many times have we seen Giants lose games inside 4 minutes where the offense can't get a first down, and they end up punting the ball, and the other team comes down the field? This is going to be that inside 4 minutes, moving the chains, drag the game out, and win it inside 4 minutes by pounding the ball, taking the ball away on defense, and just getting first downs. And listen, this is old-time Giants football, which I think makes a lot of the older guys happy. This is smash mouth. This is what I think it's leaning towards.
You got a 300-pound fullback who's probably the most athletic 300-pound man I've ever seen in my life. I'm okay with Scadaboo and Tracy and
he's a guard. He's a hard playing fullback, and he used to be a guard. So this is great.
He's the most athletic guard on the planet because again, this guy can not only block, but he runs, he catches passes, right? So I'm just like, man, well, I don't really know why we had a problem closing games out. We didn't lose games because we couldn't score. We couldn't close games out, losing 5 games in the last 10 minutes.
Putting the ball away up by a few points inside 4 minutes, and the defense just couldn't. We've seen what last year with what's his name with the defensive coordinator
Bowen.
Yeah, how we imploded so many times inside 4 minutes.
Yep. So I got a lot of faith there. Like whether, and honestly, I flip back. Do I want Styles? Do I want Styles? Do I want Downs? I would really love the guard too. You know what I mean? I really would love the guard.
You would take a guard at 5?
No. If they move back to 9.
If they move back, okay.
Yeah, because again, just think about it. Now your offensive line is boss. You got a humongous fullback. I have no complaints with what Tracy just gave you, back-to-back 1,000-yard, all-purpose yards, right? Scadaboo is on pace for 10 touchdowns and 860 yards rushing. as a rookie. Like that's what Ahmad Bradshaw didn't do that, right? Like, so I'm comfortable with what the offensive line is going to be. I'm comfortable with the running backs. I'm not comfortable with the corners.
No, neither am I.
Now I am 100% in the basket of that Denard Wilson as an ex-NFL safety is going to coach up Holland and Newman, right? And then if they draft Downs becomes that third safety, and that third safety look, right? Phillips comes off the field. They use the safety as the third, as the slot safety. So I think it's going to be fun.
I mean, you're rolling with Newsome and Banks on the other side, which I can't see. Well, Newsome, I would have to think that Banks is still the backup to Newsome. Oh yeah, I would, but it would, I think we're all hoping he could be serviceable, right? He could actually be serviceable. And tackle and put his head in
down, Chris, for 2 years. I can't see him making this miraculous, bounce.
You know what I'm holding out hope for, Craig? When Wink was here, we saw the best version of Banks when he was a rookie, and then with Bowen, he just went the other way. So I'm holding out hope that with Denard Wilson, the secondary coach, the new guy, the new one that came over from Baltimore, that they'll play to his strengths, right? And I think Harbaugh even alluded that about the players, playing the strengths of the players.
All right, so I'm going to answer
something we haven't done.
I'm going to answer some of the. I'm going to send some of these questions to you because let's wrap this up with one last drive. All right, wrapping it up. One last drive. I answer all your nutty questions if I can. And so first one, of course, at the back is, what is Giants asking price for Dex? Well, again, we don't know, but the rumor has it that came from Jordan from ESPN that it would be late rounder, first rounder. And then Ryan threw in the fact that there could be a second day opportunity too. And then he doubles down with, what is the update on Ryan and Craig's best friend in the entire universe, OBJ? So, I loved OBJ when he was here, and then he just turned into a moron. But what the update was, as Ryan told you, was, he wants to end his career here. He's trying to manufacture excitement around what he's doing and that he still has it. Some people say it reeks of desperation. Some people say that's what you do, right?
Let me throw this, Craig. If you can have Dylan Combre, Jalen Hyatt, and Bo Collins on the roster, and they have 76 players right now, I believe, on the roster. Obviously, they're going to sign draft picks. If there's room, just bring him to camp. Give him a workout. Bring him to camp.
Yeah, and I think that's again like
that's only, whether he makes it, he makes. If he doesn't, he doesn't. But I would say there's no harm bringing him to camp.
The only thing that I said about that, I agree with you 100%. The only thing that I worry about your statement, not that you made the statement, but the results of that statement, is it was already kind of out there in the Baltimore press that signing OBJ was a favor to Lamar. And not that he couldn't play, but they didn't quite need him. And then he came in and he played hard. I didn't say he didn't do that, but it was on the, on the asking of Lamar Jackson. I don't think anybody would cut OBJ if he was here. I don't think they would do that to the guy. He's highly respected. People like him. It might be over. I don't know. I just don't know.
Hey, a second-year coach may not do it, but Harbaugh, who's been a head coach for 18 years, I don't think that would sway him or not to do it because of a spot that needs to be filled with a better player. My opinion. Possible,
but then again, like you said, if you're talking about the wide receiver number 6. How much better can they be?
Yeah, I'm even thinking of this, Craig. Guys go down in training camp, right? We wouldn't want to talk about it, but Neighbors is coming off the injury like we talked about. Slayton and, and then you have Calvin Austin, you have Mooney. Guys get hurt. Guys tweak ankles. Yep. I mean, it's another body to see what he can do, especially with the joint practices. I think the Giants are going to have either 2 or 3 joint practices. Great opportunity with ones against ones in joint practices. Because if you play him in preseason as a 4, or a 3, he's going up against 3s and 4s. But if you play him in the joint practice, you can get him in there against the ones, and you're gonna see what he has.
What he has in the tank.
Yeah.
We just talked about this, Jacob. What would be a reasonable trade? Like I said, you'd get a late round 1 and a potential 3, down the road. But again, I don't think any of that's gonna happen.
It's funny. I think Ryan, man, he hit something. The locker room. Forget the fans. I'm more concerned about the locker room's reaction. Dex being one of the most popular guys and just an all pro, That's the part I'm concerned about, is the locker room if that were to happen.
I'm going to double down. Ready for this? Remember how upset
Fabian Monroe?
Dude, you just read my mind. You just read my mind. Remember how everybody was all up in arms because they cut Fabian Monroe? Yeah. Yeah. Do you know what it would be? There would be anarchy.
Not good, man. Not good. Not good.
I mean, you'd have guys, and again, we don't have a ton of veterans on this team, but you'd have the veterans on this team like player meeting. You know what I mean?
Maybe if you brought back a shutdown corner and you'd kind of say, well, we needed a corner. I don't even know if that would work. If you got a player back that was an all-pro, maybe, but I don't even know if that would work. I think I can only imagine
when they traded Leonard Williams, how ugly it was when they traded Leonard Williams.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I was Dexter Lawrence's best friend.
Uh-huh.
So no, I can't
like it.
I can't imagine. 3 for 90, 100%. That'd be overpaying him a little bit. But yes, K-Mac, that would definitely get it done. Ryan tends
and remember the structure of the contract, right? I mean, if just going off K-Mac, so 3 for 90, it depends how they structure that too. So it could be a little bit more on the back end. So hopefully, Ponte is creative in the way they get structured.
And the goal is 1 million more than Jordan Davis, who got 26. What else do I have in here? Let's see. Questions. If you have questions, throw them in here. Looking. What's this one here? If a non-NFC East team offers the Giants a first-round pick, second-round pick, or even more, wouldn't the Giants need to listen at least? I like that. Well, if they're offering a first and a second round, or are you saying a first or a second round? The Giants aren't listening to a second-round pick. And he said 3-time Pro Bowler, who's been dominant. Second round pick for Dexter Lawrence, I doubt they listen to that. First round pick, they're going to listen and ask for more.
I wouldn't listen. I don't want to see him go, but I wouldn't be surprised if it happened. I would be surprised if he was traded, but if it were to happen, I wouldn't be surprised if a player came back as well.
Okay,
because they're so thin at other spots, considering corner.
Dude, you want people complain about the linebackers. If you don't have Dexter Lawrence, nobody's stopping the run anywhere.
They'll get it done. I think I'm confident they'll get it done.
Let's see here. What does cold mean here? This coming from a Michigan fan, Styles can ball. Oh, yes. Cold likes Michigan. Yeah. I think Styles can ball too. I don't know. See, but then again, look, and then right under here, UB Scalzone says Styles is vastly overrated. I don't know how he could be overrated. I mean, he's high on everybody's board. The guy had tons of tackles. I think he had something like 25 to 30 tackles for a loss. I don't know. I don't know how the guy can be overrated. Now, if you want to tell me that he's not a thumper in the NFL, I believe that. I think he definitely has got a little bit more. I'm trying to think who I can compare him to, like, because he's tall.
Isaiah Simmons.
Yeah, but Isaiah Simmons was a boss.
I think he's better. Obviously, he's better. But that was some of the talk with Simmons, right?
Yes. But he's got to be better than that. Ryan Dunleavy with Dex did production last 2 seasons, really about injuries and Giants defense coaching, or was it the contract, other stuff? Dex wasn't as Shane or Harbaugh. No, he wasn't a Shane or a Harbaugh guy. I think we both agree
that everything, right, Craig? Combination of everything, I think.
Yeah. And then throw in the fact that he had a baby, has a new family, right? Has this elbow thing that he just can't seem to get rid of. I don't even know what's wrong with the elbow.
They keep it very quiet. You don't hear much, but it definitely affected him.
Yeah. So I think all of it. The only thing I said was I thought it was very unique for him to come in that heavy. I've never seen him look that heavy before. And I think that, just it's hard to get that body moving when you're 380 pounds, Let's see what else is in here. If I got any other ones, there are some sleeper DTs from Pete. What is David saying here? It's about we have Darius Slayton. David, I don't know what that exact question is, but yes, we still have him. He's not getting cut because that would be That would be, what was it, like 12 million dead cap hit or something?
I think it's it
Or
might
6
be like
million?
7 or 8. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they paid him 13. Yeah.
Yeah, we are stuck with him. Are the Giants more okay, Chris? I'll send it. Are the Giants more focused on upgrading the O-line in the draft more than letting on, especially the interior? Feels like they've made more moves in other areas. You could take that.
Yeah, I think when you look at that third round pick, like we were talking earlier, I think that's going to be the target for possibly that guard. And don't forget, in terms of comp picks right now, if you sign more players and actually walked away, you owe a comp pick. So I think you're going to wait till after the draft. Zeitler's still out there. I know he signed the guy today, Lucas Patrick, but is he a starter? I don't think so. I mean, he started games. He's a piece to come off the bench. But I think after the draft, the dust settles and whatever pieces are left, and then maybe it's a game of chicken between a guy like Zeitler and then get a deal done after the draft. But I think they want to see what the draft entails, because that third round could be the guard.
57. I think you're referring, Dash, to what Ryan said. That if you traded down, you would have from 37. Mm-hmm. You would trade down from 37 to 57. I think that's what he was alluding to. I don't know if that's a question, but I think that was what, like, a mock trade he was doing in his. I guess he's got like a draft board for points. At least that's the way it seemed to me.
I would venture to say round 2 or 3, it's going to be a guard, if I had to guess.
Yep, I would that or a corner. Still looking for questions, rolling through. I'm down to 837. I'm coming up to, I did put Dunleavy's at 837. I hit Ryan Levy's link in there if you guys wanted to check out what he's doing with this upcoming draft piece that they're working on. What was it 30 for 30?
I think so. Was it?
I think that was what it was called. Jalen Smith. That was a good pick, Coles. I could not think of his name. All right. Here you go, Chris. Here's the question for the two of you. Well, I'll just give it to Chris. Do you prefer to trade back, let's say, as far as the Jets for more picks, or stay at 5 and get the impact player at 5 that is going to make the starting roster? So I'm handing that one to you.
I don't know, Craig. I mean, listen, I like the impact player. As much as I'm not a big fan of taking a running back at 5, he is an impact player, and that just goes to the identity of the team. So if you're telling me I'm getting an impact player at 5, whether it is a Styles, whether it is a Love, I don't know, man. I might want to take an impact player, because there are pieces that we've lost that were borderline or an impact players. We need impact players. Give me the impact player at 5.
Interesting. See, now I got to get. I wasn't gonna, but I was gonna say I can't, in good faith, draft a running back at 5. You know, we did the research. If you guys, I don't know, Alex, if you were here, first round draft picks last on an average of 5 years in the NFL. 2.5 years for non-first round draft picks. But
Craig, I think we got to look at running backs top 5, top 10. I know we did throw a number out, but I think, taking a running back at 25, that skews the length of the career maybe a little bit, versus that running back at 5.
Maybe, but think though, running backs weren't a hot commodity, so even really good running backs went late, right? Because nobody was drafting them
last year, right? We're seeing a resurgence. It seems like ever since Barkley, went crazy 2 years ago, more value has been now put on the running back position.
Agreed.
So I think things have kind of changed. And when you factor in Harbaugh with the fullback, he's one of 5 teams that have a fullback. It just it kind of, when you say read the tea leaves, the fact that the Giants have a fullback keeps that eye on that running back position 5, because it just feels like him and his brother, they like to lean on the fullback and the running back position.
I'm the opposite. I'm like, hey, my running backs are good enough. I'm going to let them be even better by getting Ricard. Right. So for me, you signed Singletary. Why? If you were going to draft a running back,
great in short yardage, and he's a good pass protector. Scadaboo's coming off of an injury. The way Scadaboo plays, we don't know the length of his career, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it was his first year. I mean, the guy's an animal. He gets hurt. He may get hurt. So when you look at it that way, I mean, there is a little bit of a longevity thinking towards this whole, running back position with guys.
Maybe. I see it. I'm 50% on board with it. I just think, like, when I think about, okay, I signed Singletary. I definitely have my number one back coming off of injury. I get that, but he's still a number one back.
Mm-hmm.
He looked great when he was healthy. He's best friends with the quarterback. I want to keep that mojo alive. You know what I mean? Between those two. I'm going to get them some help, though. I'm going to get them some help and get Ricard to get the most out of these three guys and then go address another hole.
Right.
So the
all right. So let me put it
staying,
this way, Craig. And Scadaboo's coming off the injury, so hopefully he'll be close to 100%. He's going to be in off-season activities. But the way he plays, would you be leaning towards, hey, he's probably going to have a concussion this year at some point? I mean, in my brain, I'm thinking at some point this year, he will be in concussion protocol just because of the way he plays. So if you factor in that, now you're running with Singletary and Tracy. You throw Love into the mix. Now things change a little bit. Now maybe Tracy doesn't even make the team. Maybe they do carry 4 running backs and then a fullback. But I mean, when you factor in Scadaboo's longevity question in the NFL because of the way he plays, maybe that moves the needle a little bit towards Love.
I personally can't do it because then that would make me say we should draft a quarterback because the quarterback doesn't have longevity. Like I can only look at like the injury was a freak injury, right? I mean, it's a freak injury, right? To dislocate your ankle like in the game like that.
I know, but he's an angry runner, Craig. He's which I love. I know, but question whether he can make. How long is he going to be in the league?
All of that's true. All of it's true, but me personally, like, so if I had to draft a running back next year in the second round, there's nothing saying that guy won't be great, right? Or the next great running back. But at 5, I'm getting what do they call it? Like at 5, I have a potential getting a gold jacket guy at 5. And we didn't lose 5 games on offense. We didn't struggle to score points. We struggled because we can't make
look at some of those games though, Craig, when it came late in the game. The Giants couldn't put it away. They had points early on, but it seems like when you look at Chicago, Denver, that fourth quarter, they were playing the ball quite a bit. They couldn't. But
they lost all 5 games. They were winning 5 games with 10 minutes left. They were winning 5 games with 10 minutes left, and the defense couldn't hold them, and they went down and scored and lost the game. Like the offense did enough to win at least 3 of those 5 games. The corner position is at an all-time low.
Yeah.
I mean, our corners, realistically, if you look at how much they're hurt and how they get fried, we might have the worst cornerbacks in football.
Yeah, I think you're right. And just go off a Colts comment. You're right, Cole. I think Tracy makes the team, but if they drafted a running back like Love, I think you then have to possibly say that, maybe there would be one less running back, but
I mean, so for this at 5, I would again, I like Styles and I like Downs. I don't have a preference between the two because of the 3 safety look that Wilson's gonna play. Like Newbin or Downs is gonna play like a linebacker because they play 3 safeties. Like you can't have 3 safeties deep, right? You're gonna get a thumper out of Downs. If they draft him. You hope Styles is a thumper, right? Because there's some conflicting reports, but you're getting a great player.
Well, Downs is a smaller guy too. What is he about 180, 185?
You know what? I don't know how somebody can pull that up.
I mean, if you're talking about an impact player, Love or Downs, I think Love is more of an impact player than Downs would be.
See, that's the thing. I just don't think the New York Giants need wide receivers.
Right.
Like running back can only do so much.
All right. Well, I'll bring you back to Carl Banks. They had LT Harry Carson and they draft Carl Banks. They didn't need another linebacker. But once again, the identity of this team. How does Harbaugh want to build this team? Tough, a running style.
I always, because the league has changed, I still rest on the fact that there's no one on it. Like, we don't know if Neighbors is going to be ready to go. We don't know if Neighbors is going to be Neighbors. Are you willing to say, man, We're going at it with Mooney, and we're going at it with Austin. It's not enough.
And you just, you know what? You just kind of made the case for the running back position a little bit too. The fact that they would have to lean on that running position even more.
But you can get away with it running the ball because now you have this huge fullback. If you told me that I was going to go with Tracy and Singletary behind Ricard, I'd be okay. I'm not saying I'd be ecstatic, but I'd be okay with it. If you're telling me we're going to try to make the playoffs with Theo Johnson being the number one in Austin and Mooney, I don't think anyone's scared of it. No one is scheming for it, and you're not winning any shootouts. If for any reason Neighbors wasn't ready.
Well, I'm not making a case for Love, but think about the 22 personnel when you talk about the 2 tight ends and the 2 running backs. You got the 2 tight ends, and now you have Scatterboo and Love interchangeable with. However, I think Ricard plays like 30% of the game.
You draft Love, you'll never see Scatterboo. Scatterboo will become the third down back, and he will. You're Chris. I swear to you, you will not draft a running back.
He not be a third down back.
I only say think about just put aside what you think it could be for a second, right? Just forget about what you think it could be. Think about what you're from a draft capital position. If you draft a running back in the first round, in the first 5 picks, he's getting 25 to 30 carries a game, or he's not getting that 30
carries. No,
then
touches. You got to say now. You say touches, different story, but I don't think 30 carries. No, maybe he'd get his 17 carries, and then Scatterboo gets his 10.
But see, that's my point. It's a waste of a draft pick to give a guy 17 plays. It's a waste of draft.
I'm saying running the ball 17. I'm not saying maybe he has 22, 23 touches. I'm saying 17 carries. Just throwing a number out.
Like again, Scatterboo does the same thing. 17 carries plus 6 receptions out of the backfield. Scatterboo's hands are incredible.
They are.
If I draft Love, I don't need Scatterboo anymore. He becomes a third down back. I just don't need him anymore, right?
I don't think he becomes a third down back. I think
think about Ahmad Bradshaw. Ahmad Bradshaw, if I'm not mistaken, I'm sure somebody out there, I think he was averaging between 3 and 6 carries a game. Right?
Yeah, but
he was a 7th round pick.
Yeah, but he fell because of off the field. He would have been a higher pick.
Yeah, I get it.
Spooked, and I'm surprised the Giants actually even took him, but because he was
at
the
Giants draft.
Second round.
If the Giants draft Love, if you draft a cornerback right in the first round, he starts from day one, and he's on the field 50 to 60 snaps a game. Okay, if you draft a linebacker in the first round, he's on the field probably 75 to 85% of the snaps.
Good point. Yeah.
I'm just saying, percentage wise, how do I take my 5th round pick and you're telling me he's only going to get 30% of the offensive snaps? What did we do? That's a colossal waste.
When you look back to Brad, I'm not saying I want Love, but when you look back to Bradshaw and Jacobs, forget Ward, but when you had Bradshaw and Jacobs, they both ran for 1,000 yards in 1 year, and they had a fullback. So it could be a similar type situation.
Yeah.
Like that. So
Giants
leaned.
Well, remember though, Ward also ran for 1,000 yards.
He did. Okay. So yeah. So I mean, all 3 of them. Well, I don't think all 3 did, but
no, it was
Bradshaw had close to 1,000, right? And then was Ward that had
not in 2007 when he was drafted in the Earth, Wind, and Fire year, right? It was Jacobs and Ward had 1,000. It took Bradshaw another couple years because he was still the 3rd running back.
That's right. Yeah.
Until Ward left to go to
it was
Tampa
Ward and
Bay.
Jacobs. Right.
Yeah. So all I'm saying to people that I personally am not a fan of is like I said, if let's say there's an average of 60 snaps on defense, a corner plays all 60 snaps. A linebacker probably plays 50 of the 60 snaps. A wide receiver probably plays 40 of the 60 snaps. If you draft a running back on this team, the way this team is, one of 2 things happen. Out of 60 offensive snaps, the running back's only going because of the other players. He either plays all 60 snaps, which makes all those other running back, or not, excuse me. He plays 50 of the 60 snaps. That means 10 snaps for 3 other running backs. Or he gets 30 of the 60 snaps. And now you're asking yourself, wait a minute, I just drafted a guy with the 5th pick, and I'm only letting him play 30 snaps. So you have to ask yourself, do I draft a guy that makes an impact every play? He's on the field at corner or linebacker or safety every play, or am I drafting a part-time player? So if you draft Love, one of two things. Everyone else takes a back seat because there's no way you're drafting the guy in the 5th round and then not playing him. So now he's got, let's say, 50 of the 60 snaps, even 40 of the 60 snaps. So now I've got 20 snaps left for Scadaboo and Tracy. So those guys aren't happy. They're going to want out because they're only getting 4 carries a game.
I wouldn't worry about
Tracy. So why did I
Tracy.
draft a guy to be a part-time player?
I still don't think he would be a part-time player. I think the way the NFL is,
Okay, but that's what my original point was, is that you're nullifying the need for Scadaboo, Tracy, and Singletary because out of 60 snaps, how many snaps are you playing Love?
I don't know how many snaps, but I would think it's going to come down to touches, right? How many touches do you want to get Love? And I think we talked about it, or I talked about it a couple minutes ago with Scadaboo. I think longevity becomes an issue. Scadaboo wasn't a 1st-round pick.
That doesn't matter anymore. He already crushed it.
Yeah, he did, but he also got hurt, and he's an angry runner, and he didn't get it. But he didn't get a concussion. He dislocated his ankle. Right, but it does concern the longevity when you look at the way he runs.
Again, you're projecting that out, which is fine, right? I still just rest on you're drafting a guy at 5 to do one of two things. Nullify everybody else that you don't need them anymore because he's going to play majority, because it is by snaps, right? It is by snaps.
It's by snaps, but I would think touches is a big part of it as well. How many touches?
Of course, but you can get a snap and be a blocker. I'm just talking about snaps. If you're drafting a guy at 5, and trust me, it's not that I don't want him. I just don't understand it, because if I draft a guy at 5, I want him on the field as much as possible. So at 5, he's at a 60 offensive snaps. He's going to play. Let's just be conservative. He's going to play 40 of 60 snaps. Now I've got 20 snaps, okay, which are for Tracy and Scadaboo. Most of those are going to be on 3rd down, right? So now you've taken your starting running back and your backup running back, and you've basically split those. So that's 10 snaps apiece on 3rd down. Like there's just no room for Tracy and Scadaboo where they pick it. Well,
I think K-Mac hit it too. I think you'd see Love and Scad on the field together. I mean, that would be something great.
No way you're having that happen. Not with Ricard on the team. No way.
Well, Ricard may not be in on he's not going to be in on that.
Love
go ahead.
Love and Scadaboo on the field for 2 or 3 snaps. Sure. Remember, we're talking about body of work, man.
Right.
Ricard is going to be on the field for 30 of 60 snaps.
You think 50% of the snaps he's going to be on the field?
We all acknowledged it's going to be smash mouth.
Yes, but I don't know if it's going to be 50%. I think we're probably more
pass blocking. Pass blocking and playing fullback. Like I mean, all right, and we can 25
I don't know about 50%.
But okay, even if it's 40%, I can't see nullifying Scadaboo and Tracy when I know that I can get a corner to play all 60 snaps, a linebacker to play 60 snaps, or a wide receiver to play 45 of the 60 snaps. Or am I throwing away my 1st round pick so he can do one of two things? 1, play half the snaps, or 2, nullify the other guys that we already have. I personally I struggle with it.
If you knew Love was going to get 22 touches a game, 20 touches a game, does that do it? I mean, 22 touches is a pretty decent amount.
Because See, for me, the touches, I don't care what he's doing.
Right.
If he's on the field, pass blocking, decoy, running the ball, blocking, chipping. If he's on the field, Tracy and Scadaboo aren't on the field. So now my pick makes the other guys not worth anything anymore. So, the math, like Alex saying, the math is right. No matter how you look at what he does on the field, it's just snaps.
Right.
There's 60 snaps. Yeah. The 5th pick in the entire draft, the 5th best player in the NFL, you're going to play him 40 to 45 or 60 snaps. You would be, because if you don't, they're going to be like, why isn't he on the field? Right? So do we really want to put Scadaboo and Tracy on the back burner to where they're not?
I'm looking at what does Harbaugh want to do with the identity of the team. If the identity of the team is going to be a smash mouth running type of team, yeah, I would think you need 2 starting caliber running backs that are going to rotate. And that depends on the identity of the team. And I'm not saying I want Love. I really would rather not go running back. But if he is what Harbaugh views as the best at 5 and wants to make the identity of this team what we kind of think it might be, with leaning on this running game.
But why can't it be Tracy, Scott, and Ricard?
Maybe it can.
We can't and then now I've also got a starting cornerback. You know what I mean? Like why do I have to wait for a guard? Why do I have to wait for a corner? Let's just go get one. Or let me just make a mess out of my backfield.
I don't know if you would you do that? Would you take the corner at 5 at LSU?
I will have to cry a little naive on how good he is because I don't watch a lot of LSU football. I would assume he's good enough to go at 5, but that's an assumption. I don't know. Cold watches a lot of football. So does K-Mac.
He's the plug and play corner right away.
If that's the case, yeah. Because again, Adebo is old and constantly hurt. Banks is not the same guy, and you sign Newsome, and you're hoping Newsome, has a bounce back year after, Jacksonville wasn't a fit.
Bottom line is, Craig, if they were to take Love at 5, there's a plan in place. I don't think they're taking Love at 5 without knowing that there's a plan to rotate and to make it work between Scadaboo and him. I love Scadaboo, but the thing that does concern me is how hard he plays. And
by the way, you asked
about
Downs. He's 6 foot, 200 pounds. It's a safety. So,
yeah.
That's a pretty big safety. Yeah, man. That's just me. I think we're like, wow, we're gonna ignore the corner. We're gonna ignore.
Listen, the fun part is we're gonna know in 3 weeks, and we can end the talk, and we'll just we'll make it work. They got to make it work. It's gonna be.
By the way, you will find. I'll put it out there now. If you draft Love, Scadaboo won't re-sign. And Singletary will get cut, and Tracy will get cut. They won't be here.
What do you mean get cut? Singletary will get cut this year?
Yeah, because there's just no room for him, and he can actually play somewhere else. There'd be no reason to keep Singletary anymore. He has no value if Love comes in. I I hate to say that he has zero value.
I think Singletary is a better short yardage.
He won't be better than Love, and he won't be better than Scadaboo.
I think it would be, it might be a situation where Singletary and Tracy battle it out for that.
I can't see it because Tracy's dirt cheap and Singletary's not. Singletary just has a deal, and Tracy's on his rookie contract.
Right. What Singletary get? Did he get 7 million? 5?
I know he didn't get paid what he probably wanted to, but he wanted to stay here. But
he probably knew on the open market with the running backs, he'd probably have a better chance sticking around here.
If Love comes, Singletary's gone.
I think maybe, yeah.
Because they got Turbo Miller to be the guy that they won't put on the field. Singletary's going to go play somewhere.
Yeah. Oh no, he would absolutely.
And then Scadaboo won't resign either because he wants to be a featured back.
Well, Scott will be here for another. He'd be here for another.
Another
year. Another 2 years. Well, we'll see.
No,
Let's
no,
see
he
how
was
this
a
all
rookie.
plays out. I mean, we're talking, but
No,
let's wait till
him
draft.
and Dart were both rookies. I'm saying when it comes time,
Yeah.
is if Love is the guy, like I said, there's a big difference. What you said before, like he's not drafted at 25, he's drafted at 5.
Yeah, right.
So now there's no room for any of those other guys. Like it's the whole Saquon Barkley thing all over again. You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, listen, we saw
5.
Tiki and Jacobs exist. We saw Bradshaw and Jacobs, and
None of them were picked that high.
That is a good point. No,
I'm just saying, like,
yeah, that's a good
I'm only
point.
just
You're
looking
right.
at the trends. None of those guys were picked 5.
Right. It just shows me if they were to take Love. My point is, if they were to pick Love, that the identity of this team is going to be a smash mouth, run the ball, rotate with not running back by committee, but Scatterboo would get his time. He would get his time. He wouldn't be on third down. He wouldn't be your third down guy.
Well, I know you say that now, but there's no way you drafted running back. And yes, by the way, guys, I know he took a pay cut, but he still got paid. Like he's here. He's signed, right? And he'll just take a pay. He'll just get cut and go. You're not drafting. Can you imagine drafting Saquon Barkley and telling him he's not going to be on the field 50 or 60 snaps? That's what you're saying.
Well,
right?
We did see times when Barkley was on a sideline. Why isn't he in the game? I remember when he was here.
But overall, he was on the field on every possible play.
Right. He's getting $5.5 million. That's Singletary's salary this year.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he's not. He'll go. And again, just. I mean, look, it is going to be.
No, he's getting 1.3. That's an average. Okay, 1.3. Good deal.
Yep.
I mean, it will be interesting, Craig. I mean, they'll have to balance, right? If that's the way Harbaugh wants to go, there'll have to be a balance.
Yeah, well, it'll have to be, but it won't be. Again.
Well, listen, they drafted Ron Dane, Tyron Wheatley. We go down the list with top picks, and they
different world, bro. Again, just use Saquon Barkley. Look up Saquon Barkley snaps. Saquon Barkley never came off the field. Love will never come off the field. He's the 5th pick in the entire draft, and you're saying, "Listen, bro, you got to sit for 20 snaps."
I'm not saying
like, "Why did you?"
They're going to say, sit for 20. I think there would be a rotation. Scatterboo would get his snaps. He would get his.
I don't see how it'd be. I just don't see how it'd be possible. Like Barkley never came off the field. Why would Love come off the field? Because he's the 5th round. He's the 5th pick in the draft. He's going to play all them snaps. All I'm saying is I'm looking at the body of work of the NFL, and guys that are drafted that high don't leave the field.
Yeah. But you don't want it to turn into an Ezekiel Elliott situation either, where the guy's getting 350 carries every year and he's the tread comes off the tire in a few years. So I think there's a way to manage that as well to make it effective for both guys, even at 5. I mean, you don't want to overuse the guy either. It could be game specific, right? There could be a game where he's getting 25 carries.
Never, ever.
No. I'm saying there could be a game where he's getting more carries. Like, to your point, 30 carries a game, which I don't think you don't see that many running backs getting 30 carries a game nowadays, but it would be maybe game specific where that particular game, he would get 30 carries and then there would be a little less. So I think they would manage snaps, carries, more so carries on a guy like Love.
You're talking
to manage his work
like a very educated person, right? That's what the education, like, again, you're a smart football guy, so that's what makes sense, right? That's what makes sense. But we know by the history of the NFL that doesn't happen. Like, I'm just saying, just look at history of anyone who gets drafted in the first 10 picks. They don't come off the field. Like, they're your bell cow running back. You're not taking them off the field. Like, yes, Scatterboo will get 5 snaps, 7 snaps, not the snaps. I'm not talking about carries. I'm talking about snaps. So my overall point is, if you have Ricard, he should be good enough to blow holes open for what you have, right? And what do you have? You had a guy who got hurt, but if he didn't, 10 touchdowns for 800 yards as a rookie. And then you got another guy that had 1,000 yards back-to-back years of all-purpose yards. And now I've got a fullback and then a fullback, a Singletary. Like, it should be good enough. We didn't lose games because we couldn't score. What we don't have is we don't have a dynamic wide receiver if Neighbors doesn't come back healthy, or when Neighbors comes back healthy, we don't have a great number 2. I'm actually kind of excited for Mooney. I think he's going to be a nice player. But
yeah,
I'm just trying to say that if you look at guys in the NFL and the history, is that if you have 60 offensive snaps.
What was Giante's pick? He was top what?
Who we talking about?
Raiders.
Oh, Gentry.
Gentry.
What number did he go?
Yeah, in the first round. Ashton Gentry in the first round.
Well, Raiders had what was it? I mean, I'm sure someone.
Yeah, like 2. He went 2 or 3, right?
Yeah.
He had 266 carries in 17 games. That gave him 15 carries a game. So there's a guy that was drafted top 5.
Yeah, but that's carries. I'm saying snaps.
I'm talking about carries though too. I'm saying you said 30 carries originally. I don't think.
Well, he's gonna if it's running. If they're just gonna run the ball, you could see him getting 25 to 30 carries. But still about snaps. You only get 60 offensive plays. You're not going to take Love off the field.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So again, if he's here, I'll embrace him like anybody else.
Listen, you gotta just have faith in Harbaugh, Greg Roman, and Nagy to make it work. I mean, that's really, if they're going to choose Love, they have a method behind the madness to make it work. They're not going to just take him without a plan.
Well, the plan is he's the best player available.
Right, but they want to be able to utilize the max with keeping some tread on the tires as well and not running him into the ground.
I'm always just looking at I said, like, I believe in you. Because you're a smart football guy, so that's what would make sense.
But right? I see your point too.
You know,
I see your point too, and it's valid. I mean, that you want him to get the carries. He's your number 5 pick. You want him to be that home run hitter.
Yeah, and that's my whole premise. Is like, okay, right now, 60 offensive snaps. A team who drafts a running back with 5 is going to put him in the game 40 snaps of those 60. So I've got 20 plays left to divide over Tracy and Scadaboo. You're not running the ball that entire time. So 20 snaps could be 7 carries. So now, let's split it. You got 20. Right? 20 snaps, 2 running backs, 10 each. Mm-hmm. That means each one of them potentially is getting 5 carries a game. Who the heck wants to be a running back on the Giants if I get 5 carries a game?
Wait, well, how do you say that?
All right. 40 snaps go to Love. 40 snaps go to Love. There's 20 snaps left.
Okay, 40 to Love. Okay.
40 I've got 20 snaps. I give 10 to Love. I give 10 to Tracy. I give 10 to Scadaboo. That's okay. There's your 20.
But sometimes they don't even use the third running back. I would forget the third running back. We saw last year the Giants went into games with 2 running backs. I would forget talking about Tracy with getting 10 snaps.
So let's say Tracy never sees the field again.
Maybe you might get a couple, or maybe it's Singletary, whoever wins that third spot.
But that's what I'm talking about. Okay, let's just use back number 3 in Scadaboo, right? I still have 20 snaps. It's just math. I have 20 snaps. I take 10 snaps for Scadaboo and 10 snaps for whoever the third back is. Okay. Out of those 10 snaps, they're not all running plays. So let's just say, to be average, 5 are pass plays, 5 are running plays. So Scadaboo will get 5 carries and 10 snaps, and whoever's the third back will get 5 carries.
Well, I'll counter that. I'll counter that with this, Craig. I don't even know if you'd have a third running back active. If you're going Ricard as your fullback and you got Love and Scadaboo as your 2 running backs, you may not even have a third running back active for game day. And there you get more carries going Scadaboo because you have Ricard as your fullback. So I don't know if you're going to have 4 running backs in essence activated. You may only have 2 running backs and Ricard.
So now
I think that's regardless. I think when you look at the numbers game with the roster, keep an eye on that for the season, regardless about Love. I think the fact that you have a true fullback now gives the Giants more security to just run with 2 active running backs on game day. And now they
Fair
have
enough.
a little flexibility on specials, returner. Maybe that opens up Miller to be moved up as a returner. I don't know. But I'm just saying, even the receiver position. So I don't know. I think you could see 2. And obviously game specific, right? Game plan, depending on what they want to do. Maybe they only run with 2 running backs.
Well, we're going to see in 3 weeks. All I'm resting on is that if you draft Love at 5, you can say goodbye basically to Scadaboo and Tracy, because they'll be designated to afterthoughts. That's all I'm saying.
Well,
because there's
Tracy maybe, but I don't think Scadaboo. I think Scadaboo would still.
You think he'd be happy with 5 carries a game?
Well, a guy like Scadaboo probably wants every carry. I don't think he'll ever would be carry.
Yeah.
I think he wants it all. But I think if you eliminate that 3rd running back position now, now Scadaboo's getting a little more of that workload. But we're all throwing. We're spitballing here. We gotta see
or I
that.
have a corner that plays 60 snaps.
Yeah.
Or I have a guard that plays 60 snaps.
That is a point of concern, is that cornerback position. So
Ugly.
for all we know, maybe it could be a guy like Lane at 5, or they move back a few to get.
I mean, tell me you're not happy right now with a starting quarterback from LSU that doesn't come off the field.
It'd be great. I am apprehensive. We've gone through corners before in the first round, and it's hasn't worked out well. So that is Deontay Banks, DeAndre Baker. I mean, we go down the list. I mean, even before that, I mean, it does get me a little skittish on these first round corners. But hey, I'm trusting they know what they're doing in this coaching staff.
Yeah, I mean, either way, I mean, like I said, it'll be fun to watch. Love. I just again, like I'd hate to see like we're starving for a linebacker and a corner, and we draft a running back. So now
I get it, man. I'm not afraid of 5 of it, but when you talk impact, if it meant, we're talking about an impact player.
I don't know. I'm always going to rest on the fact that we lost 5 games with defense.
I think Love will be more in the league. Forget the Giants. I think Love will be more of an impact player than Styles.
I mean, splash plays. I mean, he's a running back.
It's a little different. True. It does.
But a guy like Downs, though, the way they used Hamilton, I know Hamilton's probably a better player, but Downs can really make a huge difference too. Flying around, your head coach your defensive coordinator used to be a safety. Like Downs could just be dominant. When's the last time we saw a dominant safety come in the league? Hamilton from Baltimore.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, well, we're out of here. We've beat that up to death. We will be following this Dexter Lawrence thing. Draft day. Chris is hosting Friday. I'm hosting Thursday. If you want in on the draft show, we put on usually 30 people on Thursday, 30 people on Friday. Put you guys all on. We all talk about, who got drafted and who was right, who was wrong. I will be right because I'm always right. Because, again, it's, I'm the king. We'll see you guys next week.